What is up, Packer fans? Back again. Here we are, week 18, and the Packers are 8-8, and they control their own destiny. Hard to believe after being 3-6 and 4-8. But before I get into the week 18 matchup, I want to say our prayers are with Damar, Hamlin, and his family and friends and everybody at this time. It was a horrific scene watching Monday Night Football, and I've never seen anything like that in my over 30 years of watching football or being a fan of the NFL. So definitely our condolences go out to everybody involved in the situation, the Bengals, the Bills, everybody that knows the young man. And it's just amazing what, everybody has done for his, charity organization and everything. The numbers are staggering and just crazy. So very cool that they did that, and just it's really sad. So hopefully we do have a positive story at the end of all this, but right now our prayers are with them. But with that being said, the Packers still have a week 18 matchup against the Detroit Lions. Detroit coming in at 8-8 as well. Both teams find themselves at 500. Pretty amazing, since the Lions started like 1-6 when they beat us and went to 2-6, and we were 3-6 and 4-8. So for Green Bay, the season definitely a roller coaster. Easy to say that, all the ups and downs, the craziness of how the offense sputtered, and then the defense sputtered, and then special teams had sputtered, and now we see it all come together. First 75-yard interception return and first over 100-yard kickoff return in a game in NFL history. Packers set an NFL record. Darnell Savage with the interception, and we all know Keyshawn Nixon with the big-time kickoff return. The Packers had been down, they were down 3-0. They got a blocked punt. It was at the 1-yard line. Defense held, big stop there. But then for Keyshawn to return that one, that just any momentum that the Vikings had a little bit from the block punt, that we took back a little bit from the defensive stand, we just stole with that kickoff return. So pretty awesome. I've been calling it since I saw him return that first kick 30 yards, the game they pulled Amari Rodgers. I was like, this guy's going to get us one. He just has what it takes. And obviously the most yards this year in kick return yardage for a guy who started like halfway through the season. And then against the Vikings, who have the best, Pro Bowl kick returner, Nwanga, he, didn't do much against the Packers, and then Keyshawn has that return. Just huge for Green Bay. Huge win for the Packers, 41-17. But like I said, this matchup is Week 18 against the Detroit Lions. Crazy that Detroit is in the mix at all. They need Seattle to lose to the Rams, which they won't. And they all play before us. So then Lions will know when they play us if they can get in or not, based on if the Rams beat the Seahawks or if the Seahawks win. If Seahawks win, Lions have no shot. Then it's between if the Packers win, now they're in. So maybe that'll have something to do with how the guys play. You can say you're fired up to try to knock a team out, but there's gonna be there's gonna be less energy if they know they're eliminated, no matter what the result of Sunday night's game is. So for Green Bay, it just means win. They're on this hot streak, won 4 in a row now. Best game of the season last week, the most points they scored all season, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks, a sack with a forced fumble, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a rush touchdown and a pass touchdown. It was all the phases you could possibly score, except for maybe like a punt return or a fumble, scoop, and score. But all in all, all 3 phases, the offense, defense, and special teams scored points. And the Packers had a 17-point lead before Rodgers ever even scored a touchdown. So that's huge. That's crazy for Green Bay. That is what it looks like when all 3 phases come together. And, complementary football, they talk about it all the time, and that is exactly what that means there. Huge for Green Bay. And so the Lions, though, they do pose a big-time threat. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. Really good running back tandem with Jamal Williams. We all know him, Mr. Dance Man. So I've always liked him. I thought maybe they should have kept him over Aaron Jones when they decided. I liked Jones so much, so I was like, keep them both. But then they drafted Dillon, and I like what they have going now. But I always liked Jamal Williams. I'm super, stoked that he's got the most touchdowns rushing in the league this year, and he's over 1,000 yards. So he's going to continue to get paid if he keeps this up. And for running backs, that's not always the truth with them. So we see it a lot. Guys get paid a little bit, or they move teams and then they're just done. So for Jamal, it's awesome. And then they have the young guy, DeAndre Swift, he's so quick and just explosive, and he's a guy that can catch the ball in the backfield, and if he gets going, he can be gone in a hurry. So the Packers have to stuff the run. I know the Lions are going to want to run the football. The Packers have struggled against the run this season, although they stopped Dalvin Cook last week. It's going to be tough, but running the football is not what the Lions really like to do, because they have Jared Goff, who's been good this year. I mean, his numbers really are up there, top 5, 10, or top 7 or so in the league, I think. I mean, his touchdowns are up there, his yards are way up there, completion percentage, but he has the weapons to throw to. We all know they traded TJ Hockenson to the Vikings. That didn't help the Vikings much. They beat us when they didn't have him, and they lost to us when they did have him. So it's more about what the Packers did right than what the Vikings didn't do. But then, they on the outside, they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we know is a stud. This guy, over 100 catches and just really a good slot receiver, but can do pretty much anything. And he's a guy that I look to see that, he can have 10 catches easy. So that's a guy you have to shut down. But then they have DJ Chark, the old Jaguar. He's a really talented receiver. And then they have, Jamal, they have Reynolds, and then they have Khalif Raymond, and then they have Jamison Williams from the speedster from Alabama off the ACL. He comes in for 1 or 2 plays a game and has an explosive play, either on an end around or on a deep bomb. He'll catch you slipping just because a lot of those other guys don't have that speed, and then you put him out there and he just zooms by you. So Lions definitely have a lot of firepower, and the Packers, right now they're playing the best they've played all season on the back end. 12 turnovers in the last 4 games, 8 turnovers in the last 2 games. I mean, we were no turnovers for multiple games in a row, and now it's 2 games, you had 8 turnovers. That's crazy. I know some of it, Tua, they said he had a concussion. So who knows when in that game he had a concussion and he was throwing all those picks at the end. But I think the one to Douglas at the end, he had a concussion. He must have been seeing ghosts because he threw it right to him. So obviously it's a lot of what the quarterback does. Last week, TJ Slayton got after Kirk Cousins, and Amos got his first pick of the season. Week 17, and our safety finally gets his first pick. I was excited to see that it was Amos. And then, Ford gets his, and obviously Savage, after being benched, he got one too, and then took it to the house. I mean, he's got the speed. He runs a 4.38 if I recall, but he's got speed. So, I mean, he just had to get to the open field and get some blocking. You could see he really hesitated. I was like, run, dude, run. And he was just kind of waiting for his blocks to set up, and then took off on him. So really exciting to see this defense kind of get going, even without Rashawn Gary, which is a huge loss for the Packers, obviously, still. But for Green Bay, the offense should be going good. Aaron Jones should be healthy. A.J. Dillon's healthy. They got out of the game against the Vikings pretty unscathed, pretty healthy. So Bakhtiari's good to go. Zach Tom or Yash, they'll be good on the right side. Offensive line's been playing good. Jenkins is just getting better every week. Myers at center's been getting better at every week. And then John Runyon Jr. has really played well at right guard. So Packers offensive line, good. Mercedes Lewis is just a blessing to have out there for whatever you need him to do. Mostly he's just an extra blocker, but he does it to perfection. Alan Lazard and him together it's like having an extended offensive line when you go out that side of the field. So really exciting for the Packers to be able to run the football, especially cold weather games at Lambeau. We'll see what the weather is. It's not supposed to be super, super cold, but we'll see. And then the offense, with the firepower they have on the outside now with Doubs and Watson and Lazard and Cobb and Toure. So I really look for this offense to get going, score some points. It's nice when the defense and special teams can help out in that area. But the Packers scored enough points on offense last week to beat the Vikings. I know, the Vikings scored 2 fourth quarter touchdowns to make it 17-41. It was 41-3 at one time in that game. Packers totally blew them out. And they could do that against the Lions. I think it'll be more of a shootout, but the Lions got really lucky the first time we played them. Rodgers threw 2 interceptions within the 5-yard line. That's not going to happen again. The first one, he hit off a guy's helmet, tipped up, and then the next one, he would try to throw it to Bakhtiari and underthrew it, and then he threw a pick where he was trying to hit Tanya down the seam, and the rookie Kirby Joseph, or I think that's his name, jumped in front of it and stole it. So just, kind of fluky plays, and then we held them to 15 points. I mean, they had been scoring like 35 points a game at home, up until that point. We played them at their house, held them to 15, but we only scored 9. So I think the offense gets going, the defense, they'll shut them down again. Jair's playing out of his mind, just shut down Justin Jefferson. 1 catch for 15 yards. And he was just like, you could see the frustration, and I get it, but you usually don't see that from him. You usually see him gritty, and so it's kind of funny that, now after Joe Barry's job was called for over and over again, now the Packers defense is starting to show how they can play. The scheme seems to work. It's tricking quarterbacks. It's getting us turnovers, and it's at the most critical time of the season. They're all coming together. Obviously, the moving Rudy Ford into being the starter, he communicates better than Savage does. That's what Jair said. So it's just, things are coming together a lot. Obviously, having Devondre Campbell back from injury really does help. When he was out is when, kind of that losing streak was going on. So for the Packers, huge game, obviously. If they win, then they are in. So doesn't get easier than that, especially, they were 4-8. Everybody had them written off. We were talking about start Jordan Love. And I said, if they're mathematically eliminated, it's something they need to, at least look into starting Love. And that never even happened. It was 1% chance, and then 12% chance, and 32% chance. And now, it was like an 87% chance if they won out. And now, basically, they have to win out, and if they win out now, it's 100% chance. So it just kept going up and up and up, and obviously we got help. Lions losing to the Panthers, that was huge. Thank you, Panthers. And then, just the Seahawks losing, and then the Commanders losing. That was the biggest one, obviously, because they had the tiebreaker and everything with us, and they just kept losing. And their coach, Ron Rivera, didn't even know they were eliminated. They're like, yeah, if the Packers win, you could be eliminated, and that he probably thought, well, the Packers aren't going to beat the Vikings, and then boom, they did. So they're eliminated. It was just one after another. But here we go, Week 18. The Packers must win. They didn't have a time for the game earlier in the season. Kept looking like, when are they going to figure that out? Obviously, they wait and see, what games are going to matter the most. Green Bay is a big draw. We get put at the Sunday night game, which is huge. Packers, Rodgers, primetime, Lions. I think if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the Packers needed to beat the Lions Week 18 at Lambeau on Sunday Night Football in order to get into the playoffs, I would have said run that all day. So here we go. Green Bay, Detroit. Weird to say that, Detroit's in the mix, but it's great for them, obviously. But here we go, Green Bay. They need to get this win. They need to play the best game of the season, and I think they are primed to do so. Then we'll worry about who we face in the playoffs, probably going to San Fran. But I think with Brock Purdy, I know people like him, but I think we can get after him, confuse him a little bit. He is a rookie. It is a big-time game, so it's not impossible. We will see. But first, we have to take care of business against the Lions. Just got to shut down the runs, and score some points on offense, obviously. But here we go. Go Packers. I cannot wait. I know you guys are excited. I'm super pumped. Again, our prayers are with Damar Hamlin. It's just so tough, watching that. So, all right, guys. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time. Go Pack, go. Peace out. Go Packers. We got to get this one. I can't believe that we're going to make the playoffs if we win on Sunday. Something that we didn't think was even possible 5 weeks ago. And here we go. Go Pack, go. See you guys next time.